morning. Welcome to lesson 154. I'm among the ministers of God. Let us today be neither arrogant nor falsely humble. We have gone beyond such foolishness. We cannot judge ourselves, nor need we do so. These are but attempts to hold decision off and to delay commitment to our function. It is not our part to judge our worth, nor can we know what role is best for us, what we can do within a larger plan we cannot see in its entirety. Our part is cast in heaven, not in hell, and what we think is weakness can be strength. What we believe to be our strength is often arrogance. Whatever your appointed role may be, it was selected by the voice for God, whose function is to speak for you as well. Seeing your strengths exactly as they are and equally aware of where they can be best applied for what, to whom, and when He chooses and accepts your part for you. He does not work without your consent, but He is not deceived in what you are and listens only to His voice in you. It is through His ability to hear one voice, which is His own, that you become aware at last there is one voice in you. And that one voice appoints your function and relays it to you, giving you the strength to understand it, do what it entails, and to succeed in everything you do that is related to it. God has joined His Son in this, and thus His Son becomes His messenger of unity with Him. It is this joining through the voice of God, of Father and of Son, that sets apart salvation from the world. It is this voice which speaks of laws the world does not obey. That's really cool. It is this voice which speaks of laws the world does not obey, which promises salvation from all sin, with guilt abolished in the mind that God created sinless. Now this mind becomes aware again of who created it and of His lasting union with itself. So is its self, capital S, the one reality in which its will and that of God are joined. A messenger does not elect to make the messages he delivers, nor does he question the right of him who does, nor ask why he has chosen those who will receive the message that he brings. It is enough that he accept it, bring it to the ones for which it was appointed, and fulfill his role in its delivery. If he insists, this is really good, right? So I'll just put a comment on this a little bit. Hang on. If he insists on judging what the messages should be, or what their purpose is, or where they should be carried, he is failing to perform his proper part as bringer of the word. Right now, something that has popped up again and again, and I have to keep my finger on my nose here, something that's popped up again and again over the years in talking with people about this course, and when I introduce it to people and things like that. And I'm just speaking separately for a second, but often the comment comes up, oh, I'll have to water this down or put it in a way that's, and I'm speaking specifically about the course, not in a sense of a particular message that I hear to deliver. That those occurrences have been few and far between, but although I have delivered many messages that seem to be inner generated. But one of the things that happens is I'm often met with the response when I'm talking about you have to teach this to hear this, you have to give this away to receive this. And one of the things that I get back is, oh, people aren't ready for that. No one's ready to hear that there is no world. We'll water it down, or we'll couch it in some other kind of a way so that it doesn't affect them, or they're not thrown into shock or whatever by it. And it's like, well, that's not my job. My job's to give the message, like it said there, exactly as it is. It's not up to me to decide who's ready to hear it or whatever. If I'm sent to somewhere and whatever, then whatever comes. It's like I go there knowing that I'm representing God, and I step back before delivering the message. It's like, all right, speak through me, Lord. I don't want my ego to be the voice here. Speak through me. And I've had examples of that, many good examples of that, where I've asked for God or the Holy Spirit to speak through me rather than the voice of ego. And the difference has been profound, like truly profound and revelatory and miraculous and all of these sorts of things. So the idea then that someone's not ready, I've had people hear this message and it's thrown them into complete shock and, discombobulation, I think is the word, for periods of months on end. And it's like, well, that's perfect. It's like Jesus, he said, I've come to tip the boat over and tip all the apples out of the cart. Well, I forget the exact parable, but, so let it be that. Because if that's what it takes for someone to hear it, if that's the response, then that means that person has heard what the message is. All right. So when we do our light sessions here and we have, let's say, new people coming along, and if they leave the session completely shook up or completely joyous, either way, I'm totally happy about that because it represents a change. Right? I don't care whether they leave joyous or whether they leave completely shook up, but it's like a disruption to that cycle that brought them there in the first place. Okay, the light gets in, the light does the work. I hope that's a good little add-on there. There is one major difference in the role of heaven's messengers which sets them off from those the world appoints. The messages which they deliver are intended for them first. Always finger on the nose. Intended first for them. And it is only as they can accept them for themselves that they become able to bring them further and to give them everywhere that they were meant to be. Like earthly messengers, they did not write the message they bear, but they become their first receivers in the truest sense, receiving to prepare themselves to give. An earthly messenger fulfills his role by giving all the messages away. The messengers of God perform their part by their acceptance of his messages as for themselves and show they understand the messages by giving them away. Okay, you've got to teach this to learn this. Give it away to keep it. They choose no roles that are not given them by his authority, and so they gain by every message which they give away. Would you receive the messages of God? For thus do you become his messengers. You are appointed now. And yet you wait to give the messages you have received, and so you do not know that they are yours, and do not recognize them. No one can receive and understand he has received until he gives, for in the giving is his own acceptance of what he received. You who are now the messengers of God, receive his messages, for that is part of your appointed role. He has not failed to offer what you need, nor has it been left unaccepted. Yet another part of your appointed task is yet to be accomplished. He who has received for you the messages of God would have them be received by you as well, for thus do you identify with him and claim your own. It is this joining that we undertake to recognize today, but we will not seek to keep our minds apart from him who speaks for us, for it is but our voice we hear as we attend him. He alone can speak to us and for us, joining in one voice the getting and the giving of God's word, the giving and receiving of his will. We practice giving him what he would have, that we may recognize his gifts to us. What more could you possibly want but perfect inner peace? He needs our voice that he may speak through us. He needs our hands to hold his messages and carry them to those he appoints. He needs our feet to bring us where he wills, that those who wait in misery may be at last delivered. And he needs our will united with his own, that we may be the true receivers of the gifts he gives. Let us but learn this lesson for today. We will not recognize what we receive until we give it. You have heard this said 100 ways, and yet belief is lacking still. But this is sure, until belief is given it, you will receive 1,000 miracles and then receive 1,000 more, but will not know that God himself has left no gift beyond what you already have, nor has denied the tiniest of blessings to his Son. What can this mean to you until you have identified with him and with his own? Our lesson for today is stated thus: I am among the ministers of God, and I am grateful that I have the means by which to recognize that I am free. The world recedes as we light up our minds and realize these holy words are true. They are the message sent to us today from our Creator. Now we demonstrate how they have changed our minds about ourselves and what our function is. For as we prove that we accept no will we do not share, our many gifts from our Creator will spring to our sight and leap into our hands, and we recognize what we received. It's in the giving. Giving and receiving are one. So as you give your love away, it's like as you smile, even like the simplest little example, as you give your love away, however that is, it cannot not be received as love, because love recognizes its own. And therefore it comes back to you in the specific of teaching this or offering salvation or extending forgiveness verbally or through an action of perhaps poetry or dance or creativity or however it comes to you to give the message away. It's in the giving away of the message and the joining in that receival that you come out, let's say, further ahead in your own association along with your brother. Okay, wherever you meet your brother on the road, there you are together. It's not like I know more about this than you and I've got a message that you don't have. It's like I've got a message, I'm going to share it with you, and together we're going to remember the origins of that message and rise up in joy. We're one. None of this is so. We're in eternity now, dreaming this whole thing, going through this process, finally having come to the end of our temporal road where we began to question there must be a better way, purifying our minds so that we can be the givers and receivers of the miraculous nature of true communication with each other, which extends seamlessly around the world. And we're having another light session here on Sunday. And just quietly, I'm very excited about that. Our brother Dean, who comes along, who's been some probably year and a half now with this book, has had a couple of quite profound light episodes during those sessions. And also Michelle, one of our other participants, is having some rather incredible changes and shifts going on, and it's a joy to be able to join in that, let's say, energy, or in that occurrence, in that awakening. That's a better one. Awakening, knowing that it is my awakening, as in mind, not I, David, but mind awakening as one mind awakening, and sharing in the happiness and the joy and the release that the recognition of the light and the nature of true union brings when it's witnessed. All right. Peace.